going to ask you, would you consider yourself a self-advocate?
Oh yeah, I definitely would. I think it's the essence of my journey. Becoming a self-advocate, believing that I have rights, believing that my voice matters. I think it's the single most important thing that all young people, but particularly young people with cognitive differences, can do in their life. It's far more important than academic skills like reading, writing, and spelling, in my opinion.
What accommodations did you use to help you with your disability?
What accommodations that I did not use? Everything under the sun. Really, I think that I used everything from formal accommodations like time extensions, use of a note taker in the classroom, to the more informal strategies that people develop on their own, like pacing in the back of classes and not sitting still. Not a formal accommodation, but something I negotiated with teachers by being a self-advocate. I used, people would read to me. I would have my papers spell checked by friends or my mom or even my girlfriend at the time, who now is my wife. And, I used every single thing possible, and there's no shame in that. I think the world wasn't built for people with cognitive differences, and we have to use everything at our disposal to make it a more accommodating place for us.
I was curious if your book was going to be turned into a film in the future.
Yeah, the short bus. There's been some strong interest in negotiations around optioning that for a film. Whether it'll be the book itself, which was a journey, or whether it'll be more my story, is still up in the air.
How is the sale of your book going? You had a series of books.
Two.
Yeah.
Very. I'm blessed and privileged to be able to make my way in the world as a writer and as a speaker.
Is there any advice that you could give to the MLC students here?
To your first question, become an advocate for yourself. It doesn't matter what kind of so-called problems you have. It doesn't matter whether you don't sit still well, or you don't make eye contact well, or you struggle with mental illness, or whatever it is. You still have a right to be treated with respect, with dignity. You still have a right to access to education, and you have a right to accommodation, and you have a right for your voice to be heard by people in positions of power, and you have a right to be respected and to own your education. I can't emphasize enough that in my experience and in the research that I've encountered, students who become self-advocates, that's really the tipping point in their journey. It really is the difference between living a life that's successful and struggling in their life. It's the single most important thing people can do.